All right, Vice President Kamala Harris in Africa this week. She will deliver a major speech pledging a new era of partnership with nations in Africa. In her second day in Ghana, Harris announced yesterday that the U.S. will provide $100 million over 10 years in new security aid to help West African nations fight extremist threats by terrorist groups, including al-Qaeda. Harris is also expected to address China's influence in the region during her three-country Africa trip. Joining me now is Fox News senior strategic analyst and chairman of the Institute for the Study of War, General Jack Keane, is back with us. General, always a pleasure. Thanks very much for being here this morning.
Yeah, delighted to be here, Maria.
So tell us about Africa and this power grab that China has been trying in Africa for several years now. Can the U.S. do anything about it? What is your sense of Kamala Harris's efforts here?
Well, certainly we welcome what the administration is doing. It comes on the heels of the Secretary of Treasury, Janet Yellen, doing it, and also Secretary Blinken. I mean, we're playing catch-up here. I mean, when the African Congress met here in Washington, D.C. several weeks ago, I happened to be at a dinner table with 6 of the African presidents. And what the common theme that they had, Maria, is, look, China is into our countries in a very significant way. We really welcome the relationship with the United States. We would rather have the relationship with the United States. And what China is doing, you know, the International Monetary Fund was established to help developing countries. And they also want those countries to have, remove as much corruption as possible. So they have some goals and objectives they place on them. China comes in and doles out considerably more money, charges higher interest rates, and then there's debtor and creditor problems as a result of it. They wind up taking over all the infrastructure themselves. This mercantilism and economic predation that they have is something that's really frustrating the Africans. So we have an opportunity here because the Chinese are playing a heavy hand, Maria. And why is China so involved in Africa? Economic influence gains them geopolitical control, and particularly of resources, is the objective. And we are in catch-up, as I said at the outset.
Yeah. And the minerals and the rare earth gems that are in Africa are obviously something that the CCP wants. But I think what you just said is really notable, that just from your own anecdotal evidence, you sitting with various presidents of different African nations, that you felt that they want the U.S. partnership over the Chinese partnership, even despite all of the power grabs that have gone on by the CCP in the last several years.
Yeah, there's no doubt about it. And they know, they know we've been preoccupied with 9/11 wars for 20 years, and now we're very involved in Russia-China competition. But they want a seat at that table. They would much rather be at the United States' table than China's table. All that said, though, I mean, they have to take care of their people, Maria. And if China comes in with bags of money to help them build infrastructure, roads, bridges, dams, energy, they're likely going to accept some of that because it's going to uplift the prosperity of their country. But they would rather not have to do that.
Yeah, it's a great point. Meanwhile, Xi Jinping is playing power broker across the world, General. He held a phone call with Saudi Crown Prince MBS today. The leaders reportedly stressed the importance of their relationship, discussed follow-up talks between Saudi Arabia and Iran. Of course, the recently restored diplomatic relations was brokered by Beijing. Meanwhile, U.S. Air Force leaders are releasing a strategic plan that says creating a diverse and inclusive workforce is part of the strategy to, quote, fly, fight, and win against China, General. You've got our armed forces talking about diversity and equity, while China is moving forward with power brokering and leadership across the world. This doesn't look good to me, General.
Well, certainly what's happening in the Middle East should concern us. I mean, the Arabs are reacting to the fact that this administration made a strategic decision to pull back from the Middle East, focus on China, and focus on Russia. And the fact is, we got 3 areas of the world where we have vital national interest: Indo-Pacific, Europe, and the Middle East, and in that order. And we've got to be able to do all 3 and stiffen the Arabs right when the Biden administration came in, the very month that they came into power. and pulling back on the arms shipments that they had already paid for, and we weren't going to provide them, that sent a huge message to them that this administration is going to pull back from them. And what the Arabs certainly want United States security guarantees, which have been there going all the way back to President Roosevelt. Democratic and Republican presidents alike have found a way, because our vital national interests are still in the Middle East, and found a way to work with governments who are different than our open democracy. And this administration pulled away from it. So it's not surprising that they're looking for other guarantees. At the end of the day, much as the Africans would rather be with us than be with China, that's true also of the Arabs, based on the sources that I have. So hopefully this is a wake-up to the Biden administration to get back involved, strengthen the Abraham Accords, the Arabs and the Israelis, and don't appease Iran. And that is a disaster. We have no policy right now dealing with Iran that makes any sense. We're still trying to pull off the nuclear deal, and that's not going to happen. But what is our policy dealing with Iran? It doesn't seem to have one, and the Arabs feel the same way about it.
Yeah, and look at all of the consequences of dithering around with these other issues. Russia now reportedly supplied Iran with advanced surveillance software and cyber weapons after Tehran provided Moscow with drones for the war in Ukraine, General. So you've got the other added terrorist component of Iran teaming up with Russia and China.
Yeah, we knew this shoe was going to drop, because the Iranians have been helping the Russians rather significantly with these drones that they've been providing, hundreds of them. And they're also opening up a manufacturing plant in Russia to do those. It'll be a lot easier to make the transfer. And Russia certainly was going to pay back to them. What they want is fighters and more air defense systems from Russia and helicopters. But what they're providing them here, Iran has always had a good cyber capability, and particularly defensive. This is offensive capability. This means penetration of the United States of America. And we already have China doing it very aggressively and Russia doing it very aggressively. And Iran has done some of it, but this will give them an added capability for sure. We shouldn't be surprised by it, but it's another challenge that we have to deal with.
By the way, General, over the weekend, the State Department said that it would support a decision by the United Kingdom to designate Iran's Islamic Revolutionary Guard as a terrorist group. I know that Mike Pompeo tried to get them to do that for years. I wonder if that's another indication that this administration recognizes that the Iran deal is dead.
Well, I hope they recognize that we should be doubling down on sanctions. We should be strengthening the Abraham Accords with the Arabs and stitching together as best we can an unofficial alliance with the Arabs and the Israelis and the United States, and confronting Iran. And I think our pushback on the attacks that the Iranians have been making against the United States troops in Iraq and Syria, I don't believe the pushback is significant enough. We should hammer these guys, for what they're doing, and make it certainly pay the price, so that they know cost is imposed on them if they do it again. Significant cost. And right now, that's not happening.
Really important conversation. General, thank you very much for your insights. We so appreciate it. Good to see you. Jack Keane joining us this morning.